Gotta be more charismatic. Dude, this is too much pressure, man.
It's gonna give you homework after tonight.
Dude, the band is gonna break up over this, dude. Who's the drummer? Because whoever is the drummer in this band is obviously not gonna last. Because drummers always
take
get
that one problem.
drummers always get moved in and out, you know.
Yeah. It's like, oh, can you play a beat? Okay, you're in. You're out.
Yeah, drummers really don't got a lot of staying. Like,
well, usually they don't have as much to do with the music as the other guy. You know what I mean? Like they're kind of just drumming. Like drumming is kind of generic, to be honest. There's a few drummers that are different, but for the most part,
it's hard to get creative drumming. I feel like.
And a computer can do what you do now. Yeah. Like anybody can, line up like just like a kick and a snare, and it's really not that hard.
I just wrote down and make sure the audio source is on the snowball mic. So
I did that.
I know you already did that.
As soon as I came out here, I was like, let me make sure for sure.
So how did that? Did you listen to the thing? Go back and listen to it?
No, I haven't gone back and listened to it yet.
Okay. So these notes are just fucking bullshit then.
They're kind of
not actual critiques of something we did wrong or whatever.
Well, there's like
we do know for sure that I was using the wrong microphone for like a good 30 minutes.
Sure, I remember that. Yeah, and probably some of my best material was just thrown away.
Well, and then it's just like treat Mike as the fourth person, right?
Can it be a hot chick or what?
Yeah.
Hey, baby.
Pretend it's a hot chick. And just like explain.
Last week we fucked up and forgot to use you, and then somebody spilled a drink all over the computer. Is that how you talk to her?
Yeah. I just whisper into it like Miles is a fucking idiot.
No.
Let's you and me get out of here after these guys when these guys aren't looking. Let's do the Irish goodbye and just sneak out.
I would hate to see what you do with that microphone.
I leave it down here.
I'm just saying, there's not a lot.
Smell funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put all these little legs together. They kind of close up. Use the tripod mostly.
Oh, the gay nephew. He liked your microphone.
Oh yeah, he liked this little thing.
He was. Well, because he kept talking about all the shit that we had lying around. He was like, "Look, they have a guitar," and he was like, "Oh."
Yeah.
And then he was like, "They have a good mic," and I was just like, "Can you stop talking to me?
We do.
You guys are here to fix my fucking AC. Like, leave me alone."
Yeah, this guy came to fix our AC yesterday, and came in. I wasn't here.
He came up. He wouldn't stop fucking talking to me. I had 2 days off in a row, so I went to my parents' house, broke out the fucking PlayStation, because I was like, I did all the shit I had to do this week, so I can just relax for 2 days. And I'm sitting in here, and this dude keeps the fucking guy that fixed our AC won't leave me the fuck alone. Jason left out his guitar, or whoever's guitar it is. Jason's?
Yeah, it's Jason's.
And he was like, "Oh, you play the guitar?" And I was like, "No, it's somebody else's here." And he started playing with it. He strummed it. He was like, "Oh, it's in tune." And I was like, "Oh." He wouldn't fucking leave me alone.
Dude.
Yeah, and I was like, it's still fucking 80 degrees in here, first of all, so you're not doing something. But then he's like, well, my nephew brought the tool. He's like, my gay nephew came. He didn't say his name. He was just like, that's my gay nephew. And at first I thought he was just like, fucking with him, like.
But he's actually a gay.
Yeah, because he was like, hello, like he would, he's very funny.
He was like this.
Yeah, he didn't do that. But he was like, if he wasn't gay, he was very unfortunately effeminate. And the fact that he said that's my gay nephew, I literally thought like the way that your dad fucks with you sometimes.
Yeah, well, no, my dad doesn't call me gay, but go.
Well, he doesn't go out and be like, "Here's my faggot Miles." He'll just be like, every once in a while he'll
Here's
fuck
my
around.
Faggot son over there.
Yeah, he'll make fun of you. I thought that's what it was. I didn't realize he was.
Sure. Like, where was your last girlfriend? Or whatever. Sure.
Or like he'll come home from work, and if we're all hanging out doing nothing, he'll be like, "What's up, girls?" And then no one answers, and
yeah, standard issue
dad stuff. That's what I thought it was. I just
typical dad stuff. Yeah, I do that. I couldn't help it. I think I turned like 35, and all of a sudden I was just pull my finger.
Dad jokes, yeah.
But he introduced him as his gay son, and I thought he was fucking with him, so I laughed a little bit.
But then he wasn't laughing.
Yeah, and then I was like, oh, I guess I just bullied you.
So that guy's a creep. For saying it that way. In the first
I don't know. That was
and then what did he say to you that it was like it kind of sounded like he wanted you and his gay nephew to get together?
Oh, he was just like, that's my gay son, and he was like, he didn't say shake his hand, but he kind of gestured him, and so I would shake his hand, and when he said hi, he sounded really effeminate. So I was like, okay, I guess it's actually your gay nephew.
Actually,
I keep saying son, whatever, nephew,
There's 13 people in this fucking store.
No, it's one old guy who was supposed to fix our AC and didn't do shit.
How many nephews and sons does he have?
He has one that I'm aware of. He has one gay nephew that came to our apartment.
He was asking about all our liquor bottles up on top of the cabinet. Yeah, he was like, what party was this from?
And I was like, I think that was just a bad week for me. I don't know what to tell you.
I know, right? Why don't you quit being a creep and commenting on our personal stuff and get to work?
And I saw very little AC fixing happening while he was not letting me fucking hang out on my day off and do whatever I want.
It's still warm in here. It's not.
I was gonna say I took a 10-minute nap upstairs by accident and I woke up immediately sweaty and I was like, they didn't do shit.
Oh man, like 2 nights ago, I was trying to sleep and it was like 5:30 in the morning. It was 83 degrees upstairs, and I could not go to sleep. So I just broke down and drove to Walmart and bought like a window AC unit and installed it at 6 a.m. And now my room is like a winter wonderland.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
That's the only way. Yeah. That's the only way, man. There's no way to sleep otherwise.
No.
There's nothing worse than being too hot to sleep.
Yeah.
I'm convinced of that.
It's
like that.
It's one of those ugly ass boxes in the window though.
Yeah, it looks great.
We live in this sketcy ass neighborhood and we have the ugliest house out of everybody.
I was putting it in and I was like, this place is getting a little more ghetto now.
Hey man, you know what? Come fix the shit. I won't have to do that.
Yeah, for real.
You know?
That's true. He showed up. He never showed up. We put in the work order like a week ago.
Yeah, it takes him at least 10 days to come out.
But they'll say
and fix anything.
Go ahead and put something in then. Something will break between now and then. Just leave it blank.
Every 10 days I just put in AC broke.
He also
leave
kept
it blank
trying to
just wait. Oh, the fucking that sink's busted. That shit over there is fucked up.
We still don't have the cabinet door that they said we would get.
That they ordered.
Yeah.
I put in another work order too. The same time I put an AC in. That was like all the light bulbs are burnt out in the entryway and upstairs.
I think maybe that might be our responsibility.
No, I don't think so.
Can you reach them?
Yeah, I mean they're just really you unscrew the little.
I don't want to buy light bulbs.
Yeah, that might be.
In our other apartment, they always came and fixed them.
You had dudes come. This was a thing because I remember the hallway light went out and it just never got replaced.
Oh well, yeah, but we were getting ready to move, so I was like, I don't care. But
I was gonna say I didn't know we could just call a dude and be like, "Hey, our light is on." That's like if we're
like, dude, my dishes are dirty.
Yeah. Call the office. Yeah. Like, there's a bug. Can you kill it?
Oh, I would have. I never had like any big problems in that apartment. I would just have guys come out and be like, "Oh, the fire detector, the smoke detector's beeping," and they just come in and put a new 9-volt battery and be like, "All right, you're good to go."
Something was beeping a lot.
And then you got this little secret box under your bed of 9-volt batteries.
Yeah. Look at this shit. This is like $10 in 9 volts.
Yeah, it was a side, basically a job.
I'll be rich.
I've been selling 9 volts to my neighbors for weeks.
Hey kid, you want a 9-volt battery? He's like, what the fuck is that?
Stick it on your tongue, it shocks you.
Yeah, I mean,
did you ever do that as a kid?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever done that.
Shit, I'll do that right now.
Things that shock you are fun as a kid. Like, I had a friend who his parents were cruel monsters, so they put this like. Their dog would bark a lot, which is I thought what dogs do, but I guess it was too much for them to handle, so they put a shock
collar on the dog.
To me, that was the most fucking medieval thing, because it was just this little, like a yappy, little dog. So I guess it could get annoying, but that's like this sound. That's like if your kid talks too much and you put a fucking shock collar on it, like it's just.
Yeah, it's not quite this. I mean,
it's alive. It makes
noise. It's not the same thing as a kid. Though.
Well, no, I know, but
when your kid gets bad sickness, you don't just have him put to sleep.
Yeah, that's true. Do everything you possibly can.
Throw him in a gunny sack and throw him out back with old Roy.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Just to me as a kid, this is the weirdest shit. But we had anytime that kid had friends over and we were all sleeping over, we would see who could fucking keep that collar and yell the loudest for the next time. And we would go for it. Because it was like...
That's like some Jackass.
Now we're getting inhumane.
Well, Jackass was a big thing at the time.
So that was what you guys did?
Yeah. Or we would do like... jumping off we would push the trampoline up to like his little porch and jump off and land on the trampoline and see who could go the highest.
That's how I broke my arms.
I was surprised nobody ended up talking funny or, in a wheelchair.
Singing soprano or turning into somebody's gay nephew. That's where gay nephew came from.
Yeah, he hit his head too hard.
He straddled one fence too many or something.
We used to take, we had this Nerf gun that was like a revolver Nerf gun, and so we would put like one dart in it and spin it and play Russian roulette, on our nuts. Because if you shoot yourself in the head with a Nerf dart, it doesn't hurt that bad. So you do it like with one of your nuts, and we would take those things apart and like put pennies behind the spring, so the spring was shorter and it would shoot a lot harder.
Oh wow!
And
that's cool.
I've never seen kids do fucking engineering to hurt themselves.
Yeah, well, I mean, it wasn't just to hurt yourself. So it made the gun really loud too, and it would like shoot really far and hard.
It's cool.
So
for sure. Usually adults are the ones who engineer shit to hurt kids. Other kids.
Yeah. No, it was sadistic.
It's a world full of broken glass out there, you know.
That's fucking crazy. Is that something you found out online, or I guess?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say because I would have never guessed to think you could put pennies.
And they didn't even have online when I was a fucking kid. I had to go to the library and find a book, you know, and be like, oh, look at what you can do.
Well, I wasn't sure how easy internet access was when he was.
Well, my dad has always been like part of tech companies, so pretty much since
got it pretty quick.
Yeah, since the internet has been around, we've had.
So you probably had the hookup before I did.
Yeah, and we had like a nice computer, like nice for the time.
To my like in the early '90s or what? Like,
yeah. Pretty much for as long as I can remember, as long as I've been alive, we've had internet.
First person I remember having the internet I remember kind of hearing about it, but like it didn't really mean anything to me.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of computers talking together didn't really mean much to your daily life at the time.
Right.
We had a computer when I was in high school, like the '80s, that my dad was convinced that I could do math. So he bought this computer and bought like all this software trying to teach me math because he's a freaking mechanical engineer and I can't even add.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like dyslexic in math. So anyway, he bought this computer but that wasn't hooked to anything. But I know what it was. You know that movie War Games. He had a modem when you put the old school phone on this old school thing and it ring in and you could talk to other. So that was a thing. Mm-hmm. But as far as home computers go. There was one guy I knew when I was in the Marines. He had a computer that was hooked to the internet, and it didn't look like pictures.
Yeah,
it was just word. You know
just
what I mean?
Like code and words.
It was just words.
I don't remember using the internet for a long time because there's nothing to do on there except email, and I wasn't emailing anyone when I was 5.
Right.
But my mom would email her friend who also had internet, and lived like a few states away, and so they would she would be on
Illuminati or some shit. How'd they have friends that were also like ahead of the time on that shit?
I don't know.
I mean, like friends or probably went to school together or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. And so she would email her
nerds
like
all the
together.
Time.
You know?
Yeah. Same as everybody else.
Yeah, she probably was like, you need to buy this so we can email each other.
Yeah. We used it. My roommate and I, we got one in like '97. I think I've talked about this last time. We got a computer, and we just used it to look at porn.
Yeah.
But there wasn't just porn. You couldn't just go to a website.
Right.
You had to go to these weird Yahoo chat rooms, and then we would email files to other people. So you had to get some skin in the game. You had to get in there and get a few nudie pictures, and then you pretend that it was you or like your sister. I'll send you a picture of my sister with no pants on or whatever, and then you'd send it, and they'd be like, "That's not that. I've got that picture 5 times this week." Or whatever.
That's like the picture of the week.
We do all this catfishing where we pretend to be girls. We have like all these different screen names and stuff. And we got one guy really fucking good. This one guy was such a douche, man. This isn't like 1998, 1997. Right? We're in college. This one guy. I was in the military. My roommate was in the military, and this other guy was an ex-army guy too. And he was a real douche nozzle. He was married to this gorgeous, drop-dead gorgeous German girl who was like a nurse in Germany and like a fucking cab driver here. You know what I mean? Like, you know how that works. Like their degree doesn't cross over. So she was, struggling a little bit. But anyway, she was super hot. Her name was Doris, though.
Yeah, that's not a good girl name.
Yeah, but not in Germany it isn't.
Oh, okay.
Because this girl was smoking.
Yeah, in Germany they got Olga, so she's pretty up there. Olga?
Olga?
Do you think there's a pretty Olga out there somewhere?
Gretchen sounds like wretched. Like that's such a bad name.
Gretchen. Yeah. Here's Gretchen. Here she comes a Gretchen.
Yeah.
It's an old folk song.
So Doris is pretty.
So Doris was super hot.
Yeah.
So my friend and I, we kind of begrudged this guy because he was married to this super hot girl, and he was a total douche nozzle all the time. He's always, look at that chick over there. All these little stupid sayings. Hey, ditch the zero and get with the hero. Like if you're walking through the. You'd be walking down the quad at school, and he would see like a guy with a girl, and he'd like, "Hey, why don't you ditch that loser, baby?" Just total
like a bad guy in a summer college movie.
Yeah, exactly. He's like Chaz, the diving champion on freaking Back to School. Oh, I've got a cramp. Maybe it's menstrual. Anyway, so this guy, we knew he was into this type of shit, so we set a trap for him, and we pretended our name was like Mandy for Love or something like that in this chat room that we knew he was in. And we got in there and we worked it to where we were going to meet with him. We told him some fuck that, like, we're 17, we're not going to be 18 for a while, so we got to sneak and we got to keep it on the down low. And he's all like, I'm all about that because I'm married, and just total scoundrel, right? So we set it up. He used to always annoy us because he would come out to where the only place we had classes was like one spot, and like 2 days a week we would hang out for like 30 minutes, and he would always pop up and annoy us the whole time. So we're like, we can get rid of this guy on that particular day, and that way we can also make sure that our plan is working, right? So we're sitting out there. We set up this whole deal where you're gonna, when you leave that class, we made it to where you barely had enough time to get to this fucking Burger King, like way out in the fucking middle of nowhere. And he had to wear a red hat so that I would know it was him or whatever, right? So this girl would know it was him, and they were going to like bang it out in the dumpster behind the Burger King. And he came out of there with a fucking red hat on, and it was all we could fucking do, man. And I started laughing, dude. Here he comes, and we're just like, we're trying to block him, you know. He's like, get out of the way, you know. Where you gotta go, dude? What's up, man? What's happening, dude? Why don't you sit, you know, talk a while? Hey, man, you know, what's up? And he's just like, I gotta go, you know. We're like, you fucking douchebag.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. That's like way too.
That's something you could do back then.
You can't do that now.
Nah, everybody's too savvy now, but back then we were all a bunch of idiots. We're just literally, I was like, I can get pictures of this girl's junk. Watch this, and then some like ching 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 ching. It would come out of the printer, you know. And you're like, you're seeing legs, yeah, and then here comes like a dick. You're like, fuck, dude, you sent me a dick pic, you fucker.
You fucker. I had wasted ink on this shit.
Oh my god, we buy ink cartridges like the bushel full.
$5,000.
My roommate, he had a whole thing. He had this whole file like you know, like women keep recipe cards in and shit.
Yeah.
And it was all these, you know, floppy disks, the 3.5 floppies, full of all the porno crap that we got off the internet. And it was like, and if you look through them, it was horrible. One was like animals. One said weird, gross. The other one said fat chicks. The other one said peeing or whatever. And I was like, so all this shit's pretty weird and gross. How gross and weird is the one that says weird and gross?
Yeah, really. Like how much weirder and grosser is that
Did you
stuff?
brave enough to open it? Did you do it?
Yeah, well, yeah, of course I saw a lot of that stuff, but you know, it was just like, you filed this under weird/gross.
Yeah, who is it for if the person who got it thought it was weird and gross?
If peeing in animals is not weird and gross.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying he himself said this is weird and gross.
Right,
so
and so, right. Well, he was just labeling it so that he could have easy access. He would go, I'm looking for that one with the farm animals in it. Let's see.
You never just want some weird and gross shit?
Well, if
like,
I want it,
in
my head it's not weird and gross.
I guess.
Unless I'm being real with myself.
That's the whole. Of course, that's the actual problem with that stuff is that you know, starts off, oh, look at those two people doing it missionary style. I think I'll jerk off. And then in 6 weeks, you're like, I'd like to, you know, gouge out that chick's eyes and skull fuck her to death or whatever. Like you go completely, you go to this weird, because you can't get excited about it anymore until you go weird.
See, I stopped looking at porn because of that.
Yeah, it's actually pretty.
When was that,
dangerous.
Justin? When did you stop
Monday.
looking at porn? Okay, I was gonna
it's
say
been like 4 days.
Hey man, I quit looking at porn every day. About midnight.
Yeah.
He breaks every single time.
I quit. I only were looking on the weekends.
Oh, no, so you're not breaking. It's just the.
No, I'm trying not to look at it anymore because it's just like unrealistic, and I feel like I'm just like immediately go to a weird place sometimes when I am talking to a girl or like thinking of a girl. Instead of being like, oh, I should get to know her first.
Yeah, it's dangerous. There's no doubt that shit's pretty dangerous, man.
What is the look on your face?
I'm not. I mean,
you're not buying it. You want to look at my search history?
Obviously, if I was going to give it up, I have 8 more years until I'm worse than you. So
that's true.
I could be fucking disgusting for 8 years and I'd still be on the same.
But I mean, but then you can
you want to set the benchmark by what somebody else is.
Yeah, maybe you could learn from my mistakes and then be 8 years ahead of the curve. You know,
that's a good way to look at it. Or what if it turns out maybe you're not quite as, you know, maybe you're a little more sensitive to this than you know, and it fucking just destroys your whole life, dude. In like no time, because it does. It'll fuck people up. I remember
for some people.
Back in the day, it was all about magazines, and one time we were on a date or whatever, and I went and got a bunch of stack of porno mags, you know, and there's like one of our captains or like a lieutenant or somebody who's an officer who's older, you know, and he was there, and he's like, you know, I'm putting a big stack of the fucking worst filth you can imagine up on the thing. I'm like, I'm gonna be stuck in a tent for 6 weeks. I'm gonna do what I can here. Oh yeah, it was like Moncherie, you know, the ones like with the European chicks that don't shave or whatever, because it's just what they had. So this is in like Turkey.
Oh yeah.
You know, the shit's illegal there, so you couldn't bring anything in. You had to get in there and then buy it, and then you had to leave it there when you left. Go figure. Anyway, I had a big stack, and he's like, you know, no one had ever told me that before. He's like, you know, that stuff is really getting to mess you up, dude. He's like, really, it's really not a great thing.
Yeah.
And I never really had anybody say that before. You know what I mean? Like, I just thought, well, whatever.
Because I think that's a weird thing to say as a guy, like with like masculinity. It's like you're supposed to want sex and like want all this shit all the time.
Right. But when a Marine captain tells you that that's a weird and not a great thing, then you go, huh? Because here's the picture of masculinity, the picture of whatever, what you would strive to be like, you know, and he's telling me that this shit's kind of messed up. So, you know, 10 years later, I decided to wean myself off of it.
Yeah. About 10 years later, I took his advice.
It just stuck with me that whole time. Every time
10 years later, I started to care about what he had to say.
Yeah.
But I always remembered it, you know.
Yeah.
I had a priest tell me that shit was gross.
A priest? Well, yeah, they have to.
Well, yeah, my parents used to make me go to confession because we were Catholic. I didn't know this was a thing other Christians don't have to do.
No, we don't have to confess anything to anyone.
Only Protestants don't have to do that. Only Catholics.
Well, I don't go to church and shit like that anymore. But I used to have to go, and I used to feel so guilty about watching porn. Like I would I'd feel awesome, and then immediately I'd just be like, oh, I'm gonna die in fire and hell.
I'm pretty sure that's everybody's experience.
Everyone has.
It's funny how we always come back to
Big Dick Energy
podcast.
Big Dick Energy podcast. That would be perfect because I constantly joke about having a giant wang at work all the time. That's just that's just my go-to. You know what I mean?
It's a classic.
If you're going to, if you're gonna joke, you might as well.
I always joke about having a medium penis. It can talk to ghosts.
I knew you were gonna do that. I saw your face change immediately as soon as you said it. I was like, he was gonna use
Is that a standby or what? Is that one of his standbys, or do you just?
I've heard him do it before.
I've said that before.
Okay.
And speaking of that, I have a note here, Miles, for you.
What is that?
No calling out inside jokes.
Okay, my bad, Chief. I forgot. All right, you never told me
because they don't know.
Yeah, they don't know. You just gotta act like it's funny. Act like I said it for the first time.
Well, it was funny. I laughed. I would like to point out that I saw your face bend immediately as soon as you said I got to joke about having a medium dick.
Yeah. No, I've definitely said that before.
Yeah, that's actually pretty fucking good. I'm definitely stealing that. Because, where I work, it's just all dudes. All day long. We just always are constantly joking. Everything is, homosexual jokes or big dick jokes.
Big dick.
And if you can combine the two, so much the better.
Have you seen this new, I don't know if I would call it like a meme or whatever, but it's like everybody's talking about big dick energy. And so,
I've been on that wave for a minute.
Yeah, it's like everything on Twitter is just like big dick energy that, big dick energy this. And it's
dude. You know who, that comedian that was, he had a TV show, Drew Carey. He wrote a book, way back in the day, and I read his book because he went to the same college my dad did or something like that. We have some kind of connection where we're from, and he was also in the Marines too. Long time ago. Anyway, Drew Carey was. Wow. He wrote a book, and he had one whole chapter just dick jokes. And he was like, I've always wanted to do this. It's the best. They're the best jokes in the world, and so this is nothing but big dick jokes. And I can't remember most of them, but my favorite one, and I say it at least once a week to somebody. I'm like, oh yeah, my dick's so big it's got snow on it year round. He
put that in a book and published it too.
Yeah,
it's published.
Dude, it's out there.
It's published.
I just stole it. It was I guess if I cite him in the thing, it's not really stealing a joke or whatever. As long as you don't.
I think it's fine to steal jokes.
As long as you carry on an MLA citation of the book you use, so everyone knows.
I think underline it in the bibliography.
I think stealing jokes is fine. Honestly,
unless
you're profiting from it, then I don't. Then who cares?
Yeah, what's the point? No joke is not stolen.
Yeah.
Most 80.
Yeah, pretty much everything on Earth has been said. You just say it in a different way.
Repeat them because making people laugh is fun.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that whole thing about Amy Schumer not that long ago about her stealing jokes. It was a big scandal or whatever, and they were showing this was my joke, and it was like a Honda Element, and then this joke was like a Datsun 280Z. Yeah, they're both cars. They're both in the same sort of, but they're not really the same at all. You know what I mean? It was like you could see where they might say that's the same joke. But
yeah, and some people, it
really wasn't.
It's weird that like a lot of people have the same thought around the same time.
Sure.
Sure. A lot of I feel like that one's easy just because people don't like Amy Schumer that much. Yeah. So if someone makes an accusation, she's all the people that have just been waiting for it, they're just like, it's time.
Yeah, she's gross.
She's gross.
She's gross, man.
Yeah, she's got a really small mouth.
I don't know what she looks like. Yeah, for some reason. I don't even know what she looks like, but I know people do not like her.
Yeah.
Because
she's sweaty.
You don't know what she looks like?
I've never seen
she's kind of sweaty.
She's kind of sweaty. She's like kind of tan and chubby.
Just go to Walmart and just look around, and she looks like one of the unattractive women in there is pretty much what she looks like.
Dude, this Walmart is trash.
The one in Noonan's pretty terrible.
It is awful.
I go to the one in Peachtree City.
Yeah, I went there today with my mom, and I was like, "This is nice."
The one in Peachtree City is where the lights are on and shit.
Dude, you can if you get there's a Walmart grocery app, and you just go in there, order all your groceries, and you can just pull up to the side of the thing and put them in your car.
That's my wife. Awesome. She does that there and Kroger.
That's awesome.
She does it at both places. Like she'll have it all set up so she can get to one place.
Yeah.
And get to the next one. And come home and then get me to unload the car. Like she doesn't lift a damn finger. Then later I'm like, "What'd you do today?" She's like, "Man, I did all the shopping." I'm like, "Oh, fuck you." You didn't do anything. Phone. She actually got into a Facebook war with some lady.
Facebook war. I love this lady. I love watching those.
Because this lady was like, was venting that people weren't helping those people that pack your car with the shit or whatever. Yeah. And she was like, and then some of these, Peachtree City, princesses or whatever, just sitting in their BMWs while the sweaty thugs loaded up their groceries for them or whatever. And of course, my wife was like, "That's their fucking job," She got on there. She's like, "Well, if you do all that, why don't you go in and do your own fucking shopping? Really. If that's so important, helping them is so fucking important." I mean, if they weren't loading your car, they wouldn't have a job. There'd be no point. Mm-hmm. So let them do their job. You know what I mean? I mean, if you want to, if they ask you for help, get out and help them. But I mean, if they're like, "Hey, do you want this on top of your bread or something?"
Yeah, only in Peachtree City, not here.
I was gonna say ours isn't nice enough.
This Kroger does. The Kroger at Thomas Crossroads does. If you look when you go in, it says like click list or something. And when you go in them, you can see the people shopping because they got these big goofy ass carts and they're fucking mowing you down because they're in a hurry.
I gotta get this shit. No, I'm gonna start doing it. We should start doing that and going to the Peachtree City Walmart because my mom said, if they don't have something that you order on their app, they substitute it for something better.
That's right, and for the same price. Yeah, like a bigger size or the real brand instead of the fucking bullshit brand.
Like she said she ordered like one of those combo boxes that's got like 2 bottles of ibuprofen in it, for like $4, and they didn't have that, so they gave her 2 bigger bottles of ibuprofen for $4. Yeah. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, so the trick is to pre-shop.
Can't be in Peachtree City?
Because I'm not paying that fucking ticket, and they're gonna put a warrant out for me.
Oh my god, Miles' tag was expired for too long, and I gave him a ticket for $190.
That's a bullshit.
That is a big ass ticket. I'm going to court for it because I already got it fixed. That's a big ticket for something I've never been pulled over for. Yeah. Like that's a fucking expensive. Like I told the guy, I did the whole shaky, put your hands up on the steering wheel like this. Yeah. Like, "How are you today, sir?" Like all that shit. I was super nice. I said "sir" after everything. That's the right way to do it. Yeah, no, I did everything that your dad tells you to do whenever you get pulled over, so you don't get batoned half to death or whatever. Mm-hmm. And he was super polite, and then he was like, "Well, I gotta give you a ticket." And I was like, "Okay." The way he said it,
it's like, why do you have to give me a ticket?
Yeah, you don't, cunt. But B,
is there somebody else here watching us? Or what's happening here?
The way that he said it made it sound like he was like,
yeah, he's like deflecting.
He didn't want to do it. Yeah. So I thought maybe it would just be kind of like a cheaper ticket.
Yeah, that's what I think. I would assume it would be like $50 or something.
If it's if it's a whole nice interaction, and then he says it like he doesn't want to give you a ticket, I assume the ticket's not going to be crazy. I drove up there today because no one would pick up their fucking phone from the Peachtree City Municipal Office. I just want to know how much it was, and no one was answering, and the little thing wouldn't just tell me, and the website wouldn't tell me either. So I drove to Peachtree City and talked to some lady, and I was like, well, one of my roommates said if I just got it fixed and came back as soon as possible, it's likely that they drop it. She said, "You can try, but they probably won't." And then I was like, "Okay, well, how much is it? I'll just pay for it if I can." And she was like, "It's $200." And I was like, "I can't pay for that. I pay rent and shit."
That's so much,
man. That's ridiculous.
So I'm going.
I don't even have a tag on my car right now. Like I'm driving with nothing on the back.
Because in Noonan, it's totally like the police here don't give a fuck at all. Oh, it's great.
Peachtree City are assholes.
Yeah. That dude, like the line where Peachtree City is, as soon as I crossed that line, he was behind me, and I
knew. Start sweating.
The way that he was behind me, like if I changed lanes, he would change lanes with me, and he followed me for a minute. And I was I started driving like 10 miles into the speed limit and all that shit.
So you start
making. You probably thought you stole like some old person's car, that fucking car you drove.
Yeah, I know. It was.
That's like a luxury sedan type of thing. Yeah, it's like big.
It wasn't my choice. My grandparents were like, we found this car and we know you need a car, so we bought it and you can just pay us back for it forever. And I was like, you already bought it?
You already bought it?
And they were like, yeah,
pay us back for it forever.
Because they're fucking senile as fuck. And my dad was like, they were trying to do you a favor, just be polite about it, I guess. And if you don't want it absolutely at all, I can just tell them no.
Just crash it. That's the answer. Just fucking destroy it, dude.
I don't think I can.
Sure you can. Oh, you got it in you. I'll help you, man.
I'm not.
We'll light it on fire, man.
Yeah, that's
good. Then we'll have to replace it. Make sure you got coverage first, though.
Yeah, full coverage.
No, I don't think I have full coverage. I have insurance. I don't think it's full coverage. Yeah, it's just whatever.
Just liability. Yeah. That's when if you hit somebody else, their shit gets paid for and yours doesn't.
Well, I drive super safe, Like the only accident I've been in.
So then they'll really feel terrible and buy you another car. Maybe this will be a better
I'm saying,
they'll be like, fuck, he was so good and he's never done anything wrong. They wouldn't even imagine you did that shit.
The only accidents I've been in have been at somebody else's. Like one was just in a Walmart parking lot. Some fucking moron just didn't look behind them when they backed out, and so I'm sitting in a line of cars. This is the shit too. Is they tried to act like I didn't do anything about it, but I was in a line of cars and she just backed into me. And then she told the insurance company, she's like, he didn't move. Like, why didn't he move? And I was like, why didn't you look behind you?
You don't have to move. If you're backing up, you're at fault. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
If you're both backing up, then it's 50-50.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have to look where you're going. It's this whole thing.
I literally switched
look out the fucking glass.
Yeah.
That's why that back part of your car is made of glass.
Yes, I think once you get old enough to where you can't turn around to look behind you, that's when they take your license.
Oh my god! And I knew immediately she was gonna
cover you up.
I knew she was gonna start some shit because I was in my car, fucking slamming on the steering wheel, yelling fuck, like just yelling, and then I was just like, had my hand on my face, and I was like, she really just hit me. And she came up to my window and she was like, "Come on, sweetie, get out your car." And I was like, "Why are you fucking talking to me like that? Like, go over there and wait. I already called the police.
Yeah.
Stay there, motherfucker.
Don't talk to me."
I literally, she was trying to be nice to me, and I was like, "You just rammed me." And then she was like, "Is there any way we can just settle this?" And I was like, "No, because you're trying to leave, and I know what you're gonna do. You're gonna give me some bullshit number, or you're gonna give me something fake." So I did the whole insurance, and then she told Allstate it was my fault for not moving. So I had to switch to Geico for her to not fuck me. Basically, because Allstate believed her. They were just like, "Yeah, why didn't you move? Why did you just let her hit you?" I was like, "Who runs this shit? Why is Allstate so trash?"
That's fucking. Oh man, Allstate is garbage.
I think just the agent she got, was like super sympathetic to this old lady, and I was like, "That's fine, I get it."
That's so, man. There's no fucking way.
Yeah.
I did this shit for like 13 years. I sat there on the phone listening to people yak at me about their dumb fucking accident, and there's nobody, literally almost no one, has ever said my fault. Everybody deflects it. Everybody says, well, they stopped short or blah, blah, blah. You were falling too close if you run into somebody when they stop.
Yeah.
If they stop, you got to have enough room to stop or you're at fault. It's fucking ABC. This is fucking sixth grade math for people. Same with backing up, dude. So, Allstate is garbage insurance. You can fucking print that shit, too. Allstate is complete garbage.
Oh, yeah,
insurance.
I would. If I ever have, like, any kind of platform, I'm just going to be like, fuck Allstate.
That's right.
Wasting a whole week of my time having to switch to Geico when they could have just covered me.
I'm doing
Geico's trash too.
I'm doing stand-up tomorrow
they
for the first time, and I'm gonna light Domino's up for like half of it.
That's what I would do for sure.
I'm gonna be like, I got robbed, and they made me do dishes when I got back to the store after I got robbed.
That is pretty fucked up.
That's
dude.
really fucked up.
How long ago was that?
It's been a while ago because it had happened even like a year before I got there.
Yeah, it's probably like 3 or 4 years ago.
I would never assume anybody would be stupid enough to rob a Domino's driver.
Yeah,
it's like,
I was I had $15. Like,
you're gonna get nothing, and then all of a sudden, police are looking for you no matter what. Like
he got this is in my act. He got he got a year for every dollar he stole from me. 15 years.
Are you serious?
Yes.
What?
Because he was already on parole for a violent crime.
Oh, okay. Well, nothing you can do about
Dude,
that.
if I'm gonna get 15 years, I'm gonna go ahead and kill you.
Yeah,
I
for
might
real.
as well just get comfy.
You're lucky he did it if he was on parole for a violent crime. You're lucky he wasn't just crazy and he didn't fucking stab you or some shit.
I wish he would have stabbed me. Then I wouldn't have to do dishes.
Dude, if I'm dead, I can't do dishes.
Yeah. You're getting blood all over the fucking dishes.
Yeah, it's like, I'm sorry. God.
Got a little fucking IV thing with you while you're doing dishes.
What's really insane is that you still work there, you know? Like that, my roommate, the guy I've always been talking about in this stuff, he worked for Papa John's for like one summer. And then he got robbed at gunpoint. They put a guy put a gun right in his face and was like, "Give me all your fucking money," you know. And he's like, he didn't have any, you know. Yeah. He's like, he said, "Look, my wallet was still at the store. I didn't have anything on me but like my driver's license and $18 or whatever." And the guy got real agitated and pissed off, and he ended up just walking away. But he was like, for a minute there, I thought I was dead, you know.
Yeah.
But he was delivering to a restaurant, a Ruby Tuesdays in the Savannah Mall. Huh. Right, so they were looking out the fucking window. They had called the cops. They saw the guy out there doing it because they were waiting on him.
Yeah,
because he was delivering. They're having like a cleaning party or whatever, and so they saw it happen. And as soon as that guy took off, they came running out. Come on, get in here! And he went in there, and then and he called Papa John's and was like, "Hey man, I just got robbed and all this shit." And all they said was, "Well, where are the pizzas at? The other customers complaining you haven't got there yet." And he's like, "Well, I had a fucking gun in my face." He's like, "I'll tell you what. I fucking quit. Why don't you come get the motherfucking pizzas?" And they did. They sent a driver out to get those pizzas that have now been through a robbery and sitting in the trunk of his car for 30 minutes, while waiting for, the whole bullshit. But the cool thing about that whole story is that he got offered a job at Ruby Tuesdays because the manager there was like, "Dude, you're so cool under fire. There's no way this place is going to stress you out." He did. He worked there, for like summers and stuff like that.
There was a story about, I think it was a Domino's around here. This guy went and robbed the store like at gunpoint, and the manager was like, "Hey man, like if you need money, you can just apply for a job here." And he gave him a job application, and the guy filled it out before he left.
Oh my god!
And he got fucking arrested.
That's got to be an urban legend.
That guy has to be like
that might be that. Either the guy was stupid or that's not a real story. But there is a real story. A guy got robbed at West Washington, and he ran the dude over with his car. He ran the robber over with his car.
That's so funny.
Hell yeah.
That really happened. Yeah, if it was a gun, I would have quit. But I was like, it was a knife. It was just a knife.
They gotta bring their A game before I quit.
Yeah. I was like, I probably could survive.
You brought a knife to a pizza fight.
Yeah, exactly. You can't fight a gun. Like this guy's standing 20 feet away from you. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, guns are OP.
If he's 20 feet away from you, you can. But if he's close to you,
you could.
That's what you got to do. If they pull, is what they taught us. If they pull a gun, you got to get close because the only thing on the gun that's going to hurt you is what comes out at the end. Right. So if you can deflect that over here at Miles, if you can deflect it over there, then it won't hurt you. But a knife, if somebody pulls a knife out, you got to get distance. You got to get something big between you and them. You got to get away from them because everybody gets cut in a knife fight. Yeah. If somebody starts swinging a knife around.
Yeah. Is he a pretty athletic?
He was black. Yeah, he could outrun me.
Any build that was black could outrun you?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not a fast runner.
Just making sure.
And I don't know. But it's like if you're gonna kill someone with a knife, like that's a lot of effort. A lot more effort than just pulling a trigger.
For sure.
And whoever's just getting stabbed is gonna fight it all the way. So
yeah, it's gonna be horrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, getting stabbed will fuck you up, man. A lot of how big's a bullet? A 9mm bullet's the size of this little black piece right here. Yeah. Right. It doesn't necessarily always leave a big hole. You know what I mean? Whereas a knife, man, it can really fuck you up.
It just sounds way more painful to have it go in and then have them pull it out.
Yeah.
And then keep doing it. Or like I always carry some kind of a knife. I think I just have a small one tonight. But that's little.
Yeah.
But it's
really
sharp.
Like the same size that his knife was.
But it's really sharp, and imagine that thing just cutting through you like that.
Yeah.
That's gonna fucking ruin your day.
Yeah. My day was already ruined.
I showed up for work at Domino's.
Yeah, exactly.
Thereby ruining my day.
It was awful, man. The robbery was the easiest part of the night. I had to sit out there. It was fucking freezing cold. It was December, and I didn't bring a jacket because I refused to buy the Domino's jackets.
Yeah, of course.
You think you're going to be in your car?
That's fucking principle. I'm not buying their jacket.
Yeah, exactly. And you think you're going to be in the cold for like 2 minutes max delivering those pizzas. Mm-hmm. But I had to stand out there with those cups for like 2 hours and then fucking came back and had to do dishes. It was horrible.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been doing that.
Who made you do dishes? Wow, really?
Steven did?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I would never.
Justin. Hey, you mind doing those dishes? Hey, yeah. Do those dishes and I can get out of here.
Yeah. Gets a little step stool and pats on the shoulder. I know you've been through a lot today, but
yeah, fill out this paperwork and do dishes.
You just be like, look, Steven, I'm not doing those fucking dishes.
Yeah, I was basically like, this might as well happen.
Well, it'll make a good story someday.
Yeah.
That I had to come back and do dishes.
And so that's the stand.
It's the same thing as my buddy Rob. He had, they didn't give a fuck. All I cared about was a damn pizza.
Yeah.
And ever since then, I haven't bought Papa John's once. That's why I work at Domino's, because I looked at both and I was like, I'm never going to work for Papa John's.
Did you guys see the news this morning that Papa John's
Yeah.
stepped down from like every position he has?
Yeah, because of that. Because like in May, he said the N word or whatever,
Yeah.
and he didn't even say it like, I hate all those N words.
Yeah.
He said it like, you know, boy, if you say the N word, you can really get in trouble around here. You know, and they're like, what the fuck did you say?
that's like the fucking cheekiest shit too. Wow, I can't believe you can, like, that's such a fucking.
No, I think what he said was that Colonel Sanders said the N word.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah. And why isn't KFC in trouble for this shit?
Well, but he was already on thin ice after the whole football kneeling thing.
Yeah.
Because you said it was during like a practice, like what not to do.
Yeah, it was like a sensitivity training.
Exactly
like you
what
can't,
not to do.
like we're gonna train you to not get in trouble again, and then he immediately said the N word.
First thing he does.
Yeah, he can't control himself.
He's an idiot because you never ever.
It's like
you
the
learn this when
savvy
you're.
thing.
Don't you learn this when you're a kid though? When you're in trouble, the last thing you do is go, "But they were doing it."
Yeah, no, you just say
he was
sorry.
fucking up worse because now you're in trouble with everybody.
Yeah.
As soon as mom beats your ass anyway and leaves, now you got to face your brothers and cousins.
You just tried to
everybody.
throw someone under the
You
bus.
just tried to throw under the bus unsuccessfully.
And black people don't like Papa John like they like Colonel Sanders. Like he might get a slide because of what he's done for the black community.
Yeah, because of the what he's done for the fried chicken.
Well, there was no internet back then, and you don't know what the guy said because he's long dead.
I thought they just meant the dude they put in the commercials now. Like
no, like it was like the original
Colonel Sanders.
Oh well, yeah, but he was an old guy 20 years ago.
He was an old guy in the 80s, in the 70s. He was old. You know, probably born.
I'd be surprised if he was like
probably born in '09 or something like that.
He looks like the kind of guy who owned a plantation.
He does.
Well, and if he didn't, that's the look he was going for. So that tells you something, right? He's like, "What should I do? I think I'll wear a string tie. That's fucking coming
get
back."
the bolo tie, the all white suit. And a goatee.
The linen suit and the cane.
And the cane. The cane is what's up.
Oh, the cane. You know there's a sword in there too, right?
Oh, there had to be a sword in there.
You know there's a fucking... So I have a KFC story. I worked at a barbecue pit in Savannah when I first got out of the Marines. And there was a guy who owned it, had been a KFC, like a franchisee owner for a long time. And he was from Canada. So he had like, at one point he had 7 or 8 KFCs. And he knew the Colonel because the Colonel, back in the day, we're talking like this fucking 70s, right?
Yeah.
Used to just go out and show up at KFCs, right? And check the place. Mm-hmm. And it was pretty interesting because this guy said that what he would do, if the Colonel showed up, you would have no warning. It was totally random. He might show up twice in a month. He might not show up for 10 years, whatever the case, because there's a million of them, right? How's he going to do it? So, but he would show up, and all he would do, he wouldn't say a fucking word to anybody. He'd walk right to the gravy and try the gravy. And if the gravy was good, it'd be a good visit. He would just go over the finances with you. What do you need? Blah, 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 and get the hell out of there. If you fucked the gravy up, your ass was grass. And the reason he did that is because the gravy, if you did it right, it was the hardest thing to do, right? It was very hard to make the gravy because he had to do this. He had to take the chicken that was cooked. And I don't even know all the steps, but there was a million steps in the gravy. So that's how he checked it. He knew if you were doing that right, that everything else would be right.
the hardest thing right, then it's all
then everything else will be okay. So I always thought that was a pretty cool.
It's good. I bet Colonel Sanders could whoop some ass.
The gravy is
fuck
good.
Up the gravy.
Dude, the mashed potatoes there though, like I feel like there's sand in them.
Yeah, there's something. I'm not sure when. I'm not sure when the potato ends and that styrofoam cup it's in starts.
Yeah,
I'm eating the styrofoam, going, is this the potato?
Have you noticed they stay like so hot for like hours? Yeah, there's something about them.
Yeah, it's like it's not real food. There's no fucking way.
No, the gravy's good though. Need more gravy.
All right, what else did we fuck up?
Let's
see. What you got on the hot list there? Where's my red X or whatever?
I think there was only one other thing that was like don't gossip about work because it's boring.
We already broke that.
Yeah. Well, but not really.
Okay. You just mean like don't just go on.
Yeah,
for
just
like
be like, oh, this
without...
person's a fucking asshole. I hate
be
this
like,
person.
yeah, that one girl maybe blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I don't like her.
Yeah, and
I
then
like that girl.
yeah, and then later on it's like no complaining about boring shit.
No complain about boring shit.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
No, don't complain about boring shit. I don't know.
That stuff is boring. Like,
yeah, just stuff.
Complain about like super hot chicks, dude. Just be like,
Yeah.
dude, I hate it when there's no super hot chicks around.
Yeah, we
like,
need a
right
hot
this
chick
minute.
on this podcast.
Is that?
This microphone is not doing it for me.
If we did, here's the problem though. I mean, an ugly chick like Yoko Ono broke up the fucking Beatles. A hot chick would break us up in about 4 seconds.
You think so?
Beatles break up over Yoko Ono?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
Yoko. I didn't know that.
Well, basically, what happened was, John Lennon got married to her, and then that was the end of the fucking Beatles. Because she was like, you need to do what I want you to do.
We need a stupid person that's likable,
Yes.
and we need a hot chick.
Or somebody that can act stupid and likable. They
Yeah.
could be they can have an IQ of 240 and be a total douche, but as soon as that thing comes on, they need to be switched to fucking, I want them to go into Forrest Gump mode like that.
You never go full retard.
That's right. You never go full retard. Oh my gosh.
So that was one of the rules I put down here. No.
Never go full
Did you actually
retard.
write stupid guy and hot chick at the bottom of the page?
No, I didn't. That's just something that came to me today. I think I did my my hypothetical standards are way too high.
Oh yeah. My hypothetical standards. That's right.
But in reality,
That's right.
someone half as hot as her would be here, and I'd be like, all right, let's
All right,
go.
boys. Get the fuck
Yeah, get out of here,
Podcast
boys.
is over.
Podcast schmodcast. I gotta go to brunch tomorrow.
What else? Oh, I think we should do more than just a podcast. Also, I think we should make it like a media company.
Yeah, you told me that.
Did I? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Which I'm down.
Well, you're not allowed to call it out. You're not allowed to say I told you something.
Oh.
We already went over this. No.
I thought that was different. Did you see the way he said that?
Right,
He's gonna
because
fuck me up in my sleep tonight. After
Dude, I'm telling you.
I'm
No,
gonna
you're
super
gonna-
glue
you're
your
just-
balls to your asshole now.
you're just gonna be you're gonna be lying there asleep, and you're gonna look up. He's gonna be standing over you with a hammer.
Yeah, you fucking called me out like that, man. Made me look like a fool.
What did I tell you about saying I told you shit off camera or off microphone?
Hey, Carl, what are you gonna do with that fucking hammer, man? I don't know. You seen the sling blade?
Yes.
Dwight Yoakam is like the ultimate dirtbag. He's like, hey, Carl, what you doing with that fucking hammer? I don't know.
I don't know.
You gotta get that dummy out of this house, man.
Well, when you go to kill me tonight, we'll reenact that scene before you kill me.
Yeah.
That's my death wish.
Absolutely.
No, I'm not gonna kill you
I
for
would
it.
do that. Better
It's
call
2
him
strikes
out.
though.
That's 2 strikes though. I'm gonna come back and you're gonna be in a fucking cast and a neck brace.
Yeah.
And be like,
Be like, what happened? I don't know. I fell down the stairs.
right. Nothing we talked about before the podcast.
A fucking bus hit me. I don't know.
I keep walking into doors.
That's how you know something bad happened. When you ask somebody like what happened to them, they're like, I don't know. That's some really serious shit happened.
It means it means you're hanging out in the living room when he asked me.
Yeah, if I'm around, he won't tell you what happened. I don't know. I wrote down a lot of shit, but I think
You did write down a lot of stuff.
He did.
it was in the middle of the night. I was half asleep.
Which, by the way, where'd you get that fucking paper? Because I was trying to take notes for the fucking audio program, and you said you didn't have any paper.
This is my private stock of paper.
Oh my god.
I'm negative.
No,
90
I
in the
tore
hole
out
right
like
now.
my notebook or whatever.
Okay.
Dude, that shit's like 4 cents a ream. Dude.
Yeah.
Like,
I just didn't want to. I'd already
You
been
could just-
drinking, and I didn't want to go to the store that
you
night.
could walk into Walmart and just steal it, walk out with it, and they wouldn't even stop you.
Yeah, it's true. They probably wouldn't.
not
I
even
think we
worth it.
decided on the name Hypothetically Immoral.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
I think that's
Yes.
good.
I'm alright.
That's good.
If I come up with a better one,
Then we'll change it.
I retain the ability to usurp that.
Okay.
It'll be formerly known. The artist's formerly known. As
Yeah.
Hypothetically immoral.
For
They're
two-
now we're fully blown immoral.
Fully
That's
blown.
that's how.
Now
they
fully
announce
blown. That's pretty good.
Fully, yeah.
Now jacked and fully blown.
So we're all gonna get crazy in shape.
Now completely jacked and fully blown.
Can we take steroids so we can look
I'm not
fucking
getting in shape.
meatheads?
Fuck
I
that.
feel like that's a lot of work.
I'm not getting.
I'm gonna try.
So I said take steroids and look like big dumb fucking meatheads.
True. No calling out inside jokes. Use lines, old stories. That was for you, Miles, only. But only because we live together, so it's like we talk to each other all the time.
Everything's an old story.
Oh yeah, everything. There's nothing
for sure.
Yeah.
For all you know, I've said everything I'm saying right now 4 times a day already to other people. You just don't know it.
And I think that's normal for people.
Yeah,
of course it is. If I get a laugh out of something, I'm going to keep mining that gold mine. You know. That's I'm going to keep going back to the well for oil. Keep drilling. Keep going back to the well.
And then we talked about intros, but I think instead of me being the host and like introducing you guys, I think what we'll do is just be like, I'm Justin, I'm Dan, I'm Miles, and then at the end of the podcast, I'll be like, if there's like some way you want people to like follow you on social media or some shit, I can be like,
Oh, I'm plugging that fucking Twitter.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna know how addicted I am
to
titties.
My name is Dan, and I am a Scorpio, and I like girls, but they don't like me usually. But that's okay. Sometimes I tie them up, and then they like me better.
Whoa! Took a dark path.
I always do that though. We get like these new people at my job or whatever. And we have this big meetings, and there's like 50. Everybody in the whole place is sitting there, and then they make this like some poor new girl stand up. She's gonna be like a front desk girl. Yeah. She's not gonna make it because Buckhead is absolutely brutal. Yeah. Customers up there are fucking brutal, and she's not gonna. I see she looks like she's not gonna make it. So she stands terrified. She stands up. Okay, everybody, I'm so and so. Then she sits back down. Okay, let's go around the room and tell her who we are. And I was like, are we fucking doing this for real? Like so 30 minutes later, when they get to me, I'm like. I just everybody else is like, hi, I'm Pete, I'm Joe, whatever, and I go, hi, I'm Dan, I'm a Scorpio, and I love long walks on the beach. Shit like that. They're just like, the fucking meeting over. Yeah. Everybody go to work.
Make it weird.
In school,
I've always hated that shit. Like, why do you have to tell people about yourself?
I hated roll. I hated having to say here. Yeah. I used to get anxious about just saying here.
Yeah, I'd be like, how am I going to say it? Should I say here or present?
Here. Here.
Do I raise my hand or no? Yeah. They can hear me.
Exactly. Well, my problem was I went by my middle name, so I couldn't just say here. I had to say, I go by Daniel. Right, 'cause my first name is Sean or whatever.
Oh, really?
I fucking hate. Yeah, I hate it. I've always hated that fucking name. If I had more than 2 quarters to rub together, I'd go get it fucking changed.
Change it?
Just drop the Sean. Just go in there. How much does it cost to just drop part of your name?
Do you think? So you think?
S-E-A-N.
Oof.
Brutal.
S-E. Oh yeah, that is brutal.
Like Sean Connery.
Like Scene.
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 Like
we always call Scene Bean. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I had a girlfriend in high school
who
was so obsessed with calling Sean Bean Scene Bean.
My sisters say that all the time.
She thought it was the funniest shit in the world. Like
it's not fucking funny, man. It hurts a lot of people.
It hurts a lot.
A lot of people are affected by that every year.
Like she would every time she met one of my friends. I swear to God, at some point in the conversation, she'd be like, "Why his parents named him Sean Bean when Scene Bean rhymes? Am I right?" And it would be like, "Shut the fuck up."
That's her big joke.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it was the go-to. It was so upsetting.
It's hard, it's hard being really close with people because you hear them tell the same stories and jokes so many fucking times that it's like, at some point, I'm sure they were entertaining to you, but it's just annoying. Like,
well, if I'm dating somebody, it's always entertaining. It's like, whatever.
I don't know, but dude, I used to date this girl who would like monologue, and she would like, if you would interrupt her, she would take the story back 10 seconds and say it in the exact same way, and say it in the exact same way every time, and it was always very dramatic and very long.
Terrifying.
She would just make a fucking meal out of that story. It was
That's
crazy,
terrifying, dude. I'll have a nightmare about that tonight, I guarantee. I'll wake up sucking my thumb with my blankie too. Mommy.
And I don't think I noticed it kind of, but like afterwards, people would be like, "Man, I can't believe you like dated someone like that that did that shit." And I was like, "I can't either. I can't believe I put up with that shit for that long. That's crazy."
Well, I mean, if you're having a good time,
love is blind and deaf.
Your brain
right?
just neglects anything that could potentially.
There wouldn't be any people on Earth if you were just with somebody you had to be 100% compatible 100% of the time. I mean, obviously that's never going to happen. But certainly, like my wife always tells people that because I always have my set pieces That my go-to. She's like, I fucking knew you were gonna say "me's deplete you."
Imagine you should bring a list of rules too. Like you can't call me out on old shit.
That's right. That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, we're gonna renew our vows, but I'm gonna swap in some good ones. You know, we're gonna renew our vows. So I'm gonna upgrade my fucking vows. How about that? I want some shit in there for me, man. You know,
this is vows 2.0 right here.
That's right. I want some me shit in there. Yeah, 'cause that's what marriage is all about. You have to give shit up. You know,
like me's deplete you.
I'm not giving that up.
Oh,
it's
too
never.
It's too damn good, man.
Never.
Me's deplete you.
But I think we should do, like we could do like reviews of shit, like movies or games, just whatever we're interested in.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. Like something similar, like, or we could each have like a set piece thing that we do. Like, it could be like Dan's denominations, and I could review a different Christianity denomination.
Yeah.
This week it's lovable loser Lutherans.
I'll make a pretty scathing review of Catholicism.
Yeah.
I want to light those bitches
you
up.
got some experience there. And then I don't know. I think it'd be funny to do like funny stories that we tell on the podcast. We could reenact them as shorts, like short videos.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome. Like super, like you keep it so low-fi that it makes it funny.
Like, have you seen Drunk History? Almost like that, where we take the audio from the podcast and then just reenact it and put, and like there's
That's right.
Yeah. And then I put animation on here, even though none of us know how to animate. But
yeah, I can't. I can barely write my fucking name.
Yeah. We could find someone. But like they have on Rooster Teeth, they have those animated adventures, which is basically the same thing.
Great, man.
They're hilarious. It's almost the same thing. Like it's like that short, except it's animated like stick figures, and it's really funny.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Artists are always starving. They're easy to fucking find.
Yeah.
Just go downtown Atlanta somewhere. Hey, you're an artist? Yeah, man.
I got a lot of friends
who
are artists, so I'll just make them do it.
Yeah, I'm like, I could never draw.
No, I can't. I mean,
like, I don't know.
I don't enjoy it either. Like,
no, it seems super tedious to me. Like, it doesn't take very long before I'm just like, fuck this.
I think the idea of being able to have like something in your head, put it on paper is cool.
That's pretty powerful.
It's amazing to me that they can that can be done.
Yeah, really.
It's really amazing.
Dude, I should bring this one time, but I've got a picture of this dream I had when I was a kid. Like this very vivid dream of Super Saiyan Goku fighting a jar of Jif peanut butter, and I woke up in the middle of the night and felt compelled to draw it. And so I've got this drawing that is like, it's colored too with crayon, of Goku with a fucking with one of those Shimtar swords,
Yeah.
like in a Jif peanut butter with a big fucking spear with arms and legs and a big spear on like this dock, like out in the sea, like getting ready to battle. And I've got this picture somewhere.
Kids' drawings are shit are the funniest things in the world.
Dude, I used to make comic books when I was a kid. I guess I did used to like to draw.
It's fun, isn't it? Yeah.
But it was like the Adventures of Fartman and Belch Boy. That was my comic book.
That's fucking good stuff.
I read it, dude. I read it recently and I was like, damn, this is good. This story is like really compelling.
You're just like, damn, I could have been somebody.
Yeah. I don't have that creativity anymore.
The way kids draw shit is fucking great, because it's like disproportionate, and then it's colored in with crayon, and crayon always looks fucking funny.
And especially if they're trying to do like profile views of people, where they're like, they always get it wrong. Like from the front, it's easy, but like from the side, it's like they're trying to do something. It's like they have the one arm and like a second arm right next to it, like this or whatever.
Mace, my little brother, for my birthday, for like my 20th birthday. Or no, I think my 19th birthday before that. One of the two. One of the latest two. He drew a picture of me as a god killing a bunch of people.
A god?
And he wrote Miles the God, but the S was backwards because he was... Maybe it was the one before, because he's too old for that now. But
that's powerful. He looks up to you. He thinks you're a god.
I know, but also I'm a god that kills people, I guess. I don't know what that means to him.
That's what God does, man. Yeah.
But it wasn't like, they were all dying of natural, they just got old. I was like... throwing shit from the skies.
Maybe they're probably bad people, not just regular people.
It's true.
You should ask him. Be like, are these just innocent civilians, or are these? Like...
Yeah, I was like, what am I doing to these people? What'd they do to deserve this? I never did, but it's somewhere up there in my room. I love it. It's great. Every time I think about it, I'm like,
God's kick ass, man.
Awesome.
Gods are great. Gods are good. We should thank them and stuff.
Yeah, just like ask them for stuff.
I think you're on something.
Food. Yeah.
Do you think rally people around this?
Do you think your name fits you?
Miles?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so now. I don't know a lot of other
I was thinking about that. I was like, if someone was like, what would you name someone? A white kid who likes hip hop and rap a lot. I would be like Miles. That would be his name.
Is that? I don't know what Miles would have to do with that. I just now that like 20.
I don't know. I feel like that's
20 years into being Miles. I don't think you could give me another name. Like at that point, I'm so used to it.
You're gonna name yourself like Spider-Man or something.
No, that's gay as fuck. Why would I do?
That's what. If you ask a kid what they would name themselves, that's what they say.
I don't know. As a kid,
dude, yeah, like what I wanted to be when I was a kid was like I wanted to be a ninja.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to be a fucking. I didn't want to write estimates on cars. And, you know what I mean? Like nobody writes that. Nobody wants to be that.
I wanted to be a ninja too. Like into my like
be a race
teens probably.
At 14, if you were like, what would you change your name to? It'd be like Hellraiser the Pussy Slayer. That's what I would name myself as a 14-year-old.
It's basically what Xbox Live is.
Yeah.
Xbox Live is people who name themselves their, what they wanted to be named as a kid.
Yeah, Big X, Little X, Hellraiser, X the Pussy Slayer, Little X, Big X.
Jesus smoked weed, 420 Blaze.
Yeah. 420 Praise It.
What the hell, dude? Dude, everywhere I go now, I smell weed, man. Yeah. It kind of gets annoying.
The hallway outside of our old apartment fucking reeked.
Like I don't mind the smell, but I know some people who like get headaches from the smell.
Yeah, it bothers me.
Oh, it doesn't bother me. I was just saying, I'm surprised.
It sucks, man. Because like people's cars, they must be blazing up right when they have an accident.
Yeah, really.
Imagine that. So I go out, open a car door, and I'm like, what the fuck, dude? They're shooting a Cheech and Chong movie in that fucking car.
Somebody at work told me there was like an accident where the guy he got into like just a nasty accident. He was very clearly at fault. He was very clearly drunk, and he got out of his car, and I guess he had a dashboard camera or something, and he started drinking in front of the camera so that when the police got there, he was like, I wasn't drunk while I was driving, that was me drinking there.
I'm so upset about that.
He was like, I would have passed it had I not just drank right there, and he was showing them the camera footage to try and get away with it. Which obviously he sounded like a moron.
That's kind of smart.
Yeah, it's 3/4 of the way home.
Yeah.
But if somehow you're just not going to get there.
I know. I can't imagine that order. Just because like how our laws work, it's really weird. It's like I found this loophole in court and shit.
Well, have you heard of that one guy who he had been drinking and like I guess he'd been in trouble for it before, so he had that thing in his car where he had to blow before he'd start the car. So he was just drunk. And he went and caught a raccoon, and he stuck the thing in the raccoon's mouth and squeezed it so it would blow into the thing, and it worked. And he squeezed the raccoon so hard that it passed out, and so he was just drunk. He just like threw it in the back of the car, or he just like threw it on the fucking like on the floorboard in front of him, and so he got the car started. He's driving. And the raccoon wakes up and starts attacking him, and then he gets into a car accident.
Of course, that's fucking
the stupidest
awesome.
shit I've ever heard of.
That's a genius.
Why do you like? Well, no, it is, but it's like, hey, what kind of fucking maniac can just go get a raccoon? Like,
I was thinking that too. I was like, man, this
raccoon?
guy really just went and caught a raccoon.
Like, if you were like 24 hours from now, I need a raccoon, like, get it or you have to move out of our house.
I wouldn't be able to do it myself.
I would be packing up my shit. I wouldn't even try.
I couldn't do it. Are you kidding me? Fuck that. I wouldn't know. It's the first thing about fucking... I mean, I don't know, the ones like in a trash can, like in the movies, they always have those metal cans, like they have in New York City or something.
Rummaging through the trash.
There's
I don't even remember last time I've seen a raccoon.
And there's always there's always like the fish skeleton.
Yeah.
And they're in there rummaging, and you get up behind them. Like slam the lid down on the can or something like that. Yeah. Other than that, I would have the first idea.
Grabbed it and
it's like, oh fuck, that's exactly what I needed. Yeah. And then to think like, imagine what he had to think to do all that, and then the talents he needed to have just to drunk drive and then fuck up anyway.
Yeah. Just to leave the raccoon in the car.
How was he so talented that he knew what to do and he had the fucking skills to carry it out, and he was like, I'll just leave the raccoon there and drive my car. Like, how did he do it all so perfectly? And then, If
I've been drinking, I can do like double the amount of chin-ups like I normally do. And then I wake up and I'm like crippled, basically.
That's right. You're destroyed. But at the time, it felt fine.
Yeah.
It's a painkiller.
Yeah.
you know?
I always make, like, after so many times I've done that, I'm like, I never do anything, like, physical while working out. It's like one of my rules, you know?
It's like an urge,
it's like,
though.
It is. It's like you want to challenge people to a push-up contest.
Yeah, you're just like, I'm so
strong.
strong.
It's just like you wake
now.
up and you're like, my collarbones are broken.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to go running sometimes after an all-night drinking thing, because if you get out and sweat it all out, you can go to bed and not have a fucking hangover the next day, you know? But that's,
I think that was all the notes I had, pretty much.
So funny. That fucking, he just put the right, like it was just a thing, like a tool. You just like, just dropped it.
Yeah, like, I got what I wanted.
Yeah.
Squeeze the soda and pass out.
Passed out. That's the thing too. Like, he literally,
I
imagine
can just see him
squeezing
going.
an animal.
I just see him going.
Like,
Make a cap out of you when I get home.
Maybe he thought he needed, like, he could use it again. Use it later.
That's exactly
For
what
the
he
next
did.
time.
He was like, put
like
this
it was
bitch in the
fucking-
glove box.
Yeah.
Open the glove box and just threw it in that direction and fucking. I'm gonna teach this
Funny
fucking thing
shit.
how to drive, and then I'll fucking really be in
Yeah, just get it. What if we could teach animals to drive?
I read a book about some raccoons driving.
I thought you were gonna say monkeys. I think the only ones we'd really be able to teach how to drive are like monkeys.
Dolphins.
I was gonna say dolphins,
Dolphins
but
are smart
I don't
enough.
think you can
Yeah.
put a dolphin in a
They don't
car.
have hands, though.
The thing is,
Yeah.
they're smart enough, but they don't think the way we think.
Yeah.
They just want
Even
pussy.
if they were right, dolphins just.
They just
want
want
pussy.
They're the horniest motherfuckers on the planet.
Have you seen a picture of a dolphin brain next to a human brain? It's, like, ridiculous. It's got so many more, like,
Grooves and
grooves
shit.
and
All those
stuff in
folds
it.
and shit.
Yeah.
You know what they can do when they're making all those high pitched noises or whatever? It's like sonar.
Mhm.
But what scientists think is that they're actually, when they send these sonar waves, it's kind of like when you see them like on some movie like submarines. They can they get sort of like these pictures. It's like they're projecting what they're seeing into the minds of the other dolphins.
That's crazy.
That is some crazy shit right there, dude.
That is crazy.
That's right. It's like, why have so one way to look at it is they might, they don't have technology and all that. They don't fucking need it.
Mm-hmm.
It never occurred
they
to
can
them.
just-
Why would I? Because of course they also can't use fucking tools and shit.
Yeah,
in the
they just
fucking
got
ocean,
flippers.
so- right. So they evolved in a different direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, their flippers don't have opposable flipper thumbs.
That would be shitty to have flippers.
That would suck. You ever see that movie Tusk?
No,
That movie's
I
horrible.
wanted to see that.
Yeah, you don't want to see it.
No.
Yeah, it's awful.
Is it gory?
No, it's not gory. Just
Is
it's
it-
so fucked up, man. It's just one of those
Yeah.
movies that makes you feel sick inside after you've seen
See,
it.
yeah, I
What
don't
is
think I
it?
like
What's
that.
it about?
It's this guy.
It's a Kevin Smith movie.
Yeah, it's a Kevin Smith movie. So it's that guy Justin Long, whatever. It's like
Yeah.
a little douchey radio host or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he ends up at this. I can't remember how he ends up there, but he ends up at this guy's house. He's like an old guy, and the guy puts something in his tea. And when he wakes up, his legs are cut off, and the guy turns him into a walrus. Like
What?
he puts him in like a walrus suit at first, and then he takes his leg bones and like makes them into tusks and like fastens them in there and feeds him like raw fish and shit.
I remember seeing
Turns
the
the guy into a
commercials.
walrus.
That
and,
does
it
sound
looks
like
interesting,
Grotesque and weird.
but gross.
Yes, feed. And he's like trying to eat like fucking mackerel or some
Oh my
shit because
God.
he hadn't eaten anything in however long.
That's gross.
And then in the end, I'll spoil the whole movie for you. In the end, he kills the guy because he's got giant fucking tusks now.
Yeah. But then
And
now
so
he
that-
has to live his life as a walrus.
And so that sort of like sealed his fate. Like now he can never return to being a human. Like now he's just doomed to be like the world's shittiest walrus, basically.
Well, also, who's
Not even a good walrus. Like
Why
a
would
real
he-
one would whoop your ass, you know.
yeah,
Why would he want to turn the guy into a walrus? What was
He
his
had some-
motivation?
I
It was just
can't remember.
crazy.
Just a
It was
mad
dumb shit.
scientist.
It was,
Yeah.
he knew the guy was a douchebag or whatever.
Mm.
He was just like, I'll,
That's
turn you into
fucked up.
something useful or whatever.
If someone's gonna kill me, I just
a
hope that they
walrus
just, they
is
just kill me.
useful.
They better just fucking kill me. I don't want to be turned into a walrus.
Yeah, anything where the main character just gets horribly deformed
that
and
or
has
that-
to live through
Or
it.
like Human Centipede.
Yeah,
I
I was
haven't seen
thinking that
that.
as soon as you said that. That shit is
I
so
know
gross to
of
me.
it.
I hate it.
That is disgusting.
Yeah, don't watch
There's
that.
have you watched House of a Thousand Corpses? It's actually good.
Is that the Rob?
It's
that
Rob
Rob
Zombie,
Zombie?
yeah. And it's got Dwight from The Office is in it. You know, he's one
Really?
of the main guys.
Oh, that's cool.
But he gets carved up like that and turned into like some kind of sculpture or something, like human sculpture in that movie. But that's actually a pretty good horror movie. I like it.
I'm not into most horror movies just because they're pretty grotesque.
It's you know.
Like some people are into feeling squeamish. Anything that makes me feel sick.
There's nothing like super
like
squeamish in that movie where it's like you're like super grossed out. Like you don't see him getting carved up. He just like unveils it and it's there for like a second, you know.
Yeah.
But it's just like a creepy movie.
Is he alive after the?
No.
Okay, that's not as bad. Anything where like you're just horribly deformed.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I don't like shit like that.
I like the psychological thriller parts of movies like that. Like that's why I like Rob Zombie movies is there's always some weird fucked up twist. Like the last 20 minutes of that movie, you're just like, what the hell is happening? Because it's like the whole movie you think you know what's going on,
but you really don't.
Yeah, but it's like, oh, it turns out like this guy Dr. Satan lives in this horrifying underground cavern, and he's like, I don't know, it's crazy.
It makes me want to watch the movie now. Have you seen? My favorite horror movie probably of all time is Cabin in the Woods.
I haven't seen that one.
You haven't seen that?
Is that with... I always get that one confused with other ones because there's a few with similar titles like that. Is that the one with the guy from Boy Meets World in it? Sean from Boy Meets World?
It's, I don't know if that guy...
Is it the one where the girl, like, is shaving her legs and it, like, starts shaving the skin off?
No. No, this one is like the cover of it. The cabin looks like a Rubik's cube, like it's getting turned all these different which ways. Because it's one of those, and they tell you fairly early on, so it's not a huge spoiler. But the whole Cabin in the Woods thing is like a government setup.
Oh, okay.
It's like an experiment or something like that, sort of.
That's more recent in the movie. I was thinking.
Yeah, it's got the guy who plays Thor in it, in probably the first role.
Chris Hemsworth.
It's got Chris Hemsworth before he was like a superstar.
Yeah.
And so it's got some of the more typical tropes, like some of the people you think are going to survive die, and the people you don't think are going to survive, they're the ones who live, that kind of thing. But what's really interesting about it is it's almost like a Find Your Fate book. Like they sort of like they get to this cabin and then these government people are watching them and they're like, I wonder who they're going to choose, and then they end up kind of picking who's going to fuck them up. But then there's part of this vast thing that's going on all over the world. Like on the same day, this type of shit is happening all over the world. So it's pretty cool. And then of course everything goes sideways, and so you get to see this whole government facility just get fucked up.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
I'll probably watch that.
It's a really good
this Halloween.
It's a really good
for this.
Yeah. I never watch scary movies or horror movies unless it's October, and then I'm like way into them for like 30 days.
I wish it was October now, man. Summer can bite it, man. I'm so fucking tired of being hot as balls every day.
Yeah.
Like I'm outside a lot, like in the shop, and even in like my office gets hot sometimes. I'm just like, fuck this, dude. I'm ready to fucking like move somewhere where it's not so damn hot all the time.
It's hot everywhere. It's like I was at my grandma's house like all last week, and she doesn't have air conditioning upstairs, which is where I sleep. Yeah. And so
people up there that are just like, air conditioning, we don't need that.
Yeah, it's only hot like 2 months.
Yeah, it's only hot for 2 months. That's 2 whole months I can't sleep.
Yeah,
So
I was hot there.
It feels a lot longer when it's like that.
I was hot there. I came back. Air conditioning was broke here, and then it's it's hot at work all the time.
AC being broke, they ain't gonna fucking work. Yeah. That's awful. Yeah, I got to get the AC fixed in that car. It was hot as balls driving home today. I was like, are you kidding me? Then you get stuck in traffic, nothing's moving, and you're really hot.
Yeah.
You get going, at least you got the air coming in, it's tolerable.
I left my car keys in Illinois when I left the other day.
I left my heart in San Francisco and my car keys in Illinois.
Me and my dad and Jason came back on Monday, and I was like, got home, and I was like, where the fuck are my car keys? And I was like, God damn it, I left them in the back of my mom's car because she was still up there. And so they just came back like yesterday, and I finally got my car keys.
I've been reunited with my car keys.
Yeah.